into this summer, we saw a lot of wear and tear on our roads, weather-related, the pothole thing that really drove residents crazy, and it caused a lot of conversation, generated a few memes, a lot going on with that, and then leading right into out of pothole season and straight into the orange cone season. There were a few people who were frustrated, right? And I feel very excited because they'll be able to see that it's worth it, right? You can't not drive through this and notice that it's safer, notice that it's smoother, notice that it's the traffic flows better. And so I'm excited for people to see that.
So as Public Works Director, we've worked on this project really from its initiation through programming in the federal aid program, really to set up the funding source for that, and then worked with our staffing to complete the design and then go to construction. So we really had an involvement from the start to finish, and really happy with how it turned out. Okay. So we had hoped to have this project under construction a year ago. So as we went out to bid the first time on this project, due to a lot of things with COVID, all the things that were going on, we had no bidders that actually submitted a bid for this project. So that delayed that for a year. We looked at our specifications to see if there was anything that we could modify to make that more, amenable to having bidders take a look at that. So bid that a year later, but that did push back the construction opening about a year.
It's not just the smoothness of the pavement, right? This project gave us dedicated rights, and that will be a forever improvement to the flow of traffic, and it's a safety enhancement. And people don't necessarily realize that our construction professionals and our planners and engineers take into account traffic count, accident data, and all of those things as they design these roadways. People often think this is a cookie cutter thing, but there's a lot of design work and a lot of intelligence and data that go into exactly how this is done. All of it. And we also have added some other safety features here. We've got the islands, and that will change the flow of traffic and the way that people have to learn to make their left turns in different places. And
we had a lot of sit-down discussions with those that had looked at the project. A lot of that had to do with the amount of work that was already ongoing. This is a large project in a busy part of town, and so as people looked at that, they were concerned about some of the traffic control that was associated with the project. So we did sit down and talk about what changes could we possibly make to make that a project that could be easier put together and still be able to move traffic on 17th Street. So those were some of the things that we looked at. And then any other potential cost savings, we did some value engineering as well to try to reduce potential costs for the overall project.
I will tell you that this intersection, maybe you've already told this story, but it was delayed. The project was delayed by a year or by an entire season because we didn't have bidders when we first put it out. And, that was disappointing to the schedule that we had. But what is that? Why did that happen? It happened because the construction talent in our region had more lucrative things to do. They had other opportunities, and they didn't need a government job to fill the work roster.
So too, we kind of discussed about the delay that we had for this particular project with no bidders. Another one of the major projects within Idaho Falls that actually is not a city project, but the state of Idaho Transportation Department. So they had two intersection projects that they also bid a year ago. Those are at Broadway and Yellowstone, and then also Anderson and Northgate Mile. Those intersections were intended to go back in as concrete intersections. So at the same time our Woodruff went out to bid and we had no bidders, they had bidders come back with double their construction cost estimate at that time. So that caused them to delay that project a year as well to look at that. So in concert with that, we also had a great deal of utility work, one of which probably most people noticed the most because it's very closely related to the intersection improvements at Broadway and Yellowstone. But that was Intermountain Gas's relocation of their gas line from the Pancari Bridge. And so that caused a lot of detours in the downtown and with the Pancari area. Unfortunately, what was anticipated to be 2 weeks duration for that work turned into 2 months. And so that coincided with a lot of the detours that were going on for the Broadway and Yellowstone project, which caused a great deal of disruption downtown.
It's wonderful news that we have so much going on that we are having a hard time finding the people to do the construction work. because growth is happening, and the construction work represents a response to that. People are not just flocking to Idaho Falls, they're flocking to the surrounding areas. And Idaho Falls, being the largest city in eastern Idaho, is also a hub. And our infrastructure has to endure visits, use, not just by our residents, but visits from Wyoming residents, visits from Montana residents, and visits from people all around in surrounding counties who shop here, who seek their entertainment here, who come here to work. And so we have to do higher quality work in order to be able to sustain all that wear and tear.
In working with Knife River and all their sub-consultants on this project, it's really a partnership as we roll up our sleeves and try to get that completed. They've done a great job, professional group. We do a number of projects around town in which Knife River is the prime contractor. And so we look forward to doing that in the future as well on a number of projects.
Since becoming mayor, I have become more and more appreciative of the people who have the technical skills and have the ability to be able to make things happen, right? Society doesn't run on, communities don't run on just think work. We need people who know how to do the heavy lifting. And I have learned gratitude for all of the construction trades. I'm grateful for our College of Eastern Idaho that has programs that are trying to encourage construction. I'm grateful for business owners who are supportive of a construction combine or of creative ways to recruit young people into contracting work and into construction work. And I hope that we don't ever take that for granted. And yet it happens. I know that construction work can sometimes be well compensated, but it's also seasonal, and people need to remember that and know that sometimes we don't have projects going all winter long. But also just beyond gratitude, like thank you for this, but appreciation long term for the contributions that these industries or these professions make. It's definitely something that I didn't have earlier in my life that I have now.